Right, so before we talk about the your days as returning SPs, what's under orders?
Yeah, well, the last thing I suggested before I left the jockey club, I wrote recommendation that there was a race at Salisbury, and the name of the horse was Lock Ranser, I think. Got withdrawn, and in those days there always used to be under orders when the jockeys arrived at the post or to start, and the white flag man used to hold the flag up. Might be minutes before the off. Now, if a horse didn't go into the stalls or for some reason didn't run in the race, punters lost their money because they'd come up under orders. I thought this was, and other people thought it was totally unfair. So I suggested to my senior that under orders should be abolished. What was the point of having under orders? Anyway, that got passed, not only due to me, but to journalists who also agree with it. And so what they did, the judge was then told to say under orders and off when they were off. And then if there was a restart, that would be rescinded, the under orders and off. But why they kept on saying under orders, but that was 1994, you wouldn't believe that, 30 years ago, they abolished under orders.
Yeah, when we worked together, they still used to say it.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, it took to about 2000 before they scrubbed saying under orders, and then I think they moved it over to the commentator, and the commentator just said they're off. And if there was one that didn't go, was withdrawn, then there was Rule 4 applies, you know.
Okay, so can we get? So you've moved from betting intelligence officer to starting price returner, and in those days, anyone that's old enough to remember, you guys would all be in a huddle at the end as they were off.
Yeah.
And then you would be. What would you be doing in that huddle?
Well, we would be collating between us what the prices were in the different parts of the ring that we were operating in, and come to an agreement on what the price should be. Sometimes there'd be two of us, always two of us at a racetrack, one for the Sporting Life and one for the PA, the Press Association. And I worked for the Press Association, and then sometimes, like the bigger meetings, you'd have four, like at the Aintree or Cheltenham, Goodwood. Yeah, there was a lot of the time you get complaints, but then we were doing what we thought was correct, you know.
Yeah, it must have been quite difficult to return it manually, but you know, when all the people jostling around, and especially with like a 20-runner handicap or something.
Yeah, we had pencil and paper, you know, we make notes of all the runners, and yeah, it was enjoyable again, but there was no paperwork.
So when you all decided, it was all being done while the race was run, so you hardly ever saw a race, I don't suppose. But so when it was all decided, somebody got on the phone? Because back in those days, phones weren't to a penny, like, you know, you had to find one.
Well, the Press Association always had somebody on the phone to the head office, and
right.
They used to be in the huddle and listen to each price, and they would send it before the end of the race, so that prices went out before the race had finished.
Okay, now you hear loads of colourful stories about certain bookmakers knocking out SPs for gambles to be landed, that sort of thing. You ever sort of witness anything like that? And could you do anything about it? Would you just have to write what you saw, or could you go and have a word? How did it, you know, was that?
Yeah, I mean, Bob Jacobs was one that was, and Gary Wiltshire. You noted that for some reason they laid a bet, but they kept on pulling it out. So presumably they were having some back at SP because they laid it shorter.
And in those days, the firms used to come flying in to shorten one up.
Yeah,
It was quite frenetic.
Yes.
Was it a fair system, you think? Because you obviously your career spanned to when it all became computerised, and we got to know each other when I was working with it. I
Yeah.
mean, people now say, "Oh, you know, it's all crooked," but it certainly wasn't crooked, was it?
Oh no. There was the integrity of it, of us all, was why we were there. You know, why we were employed.
Now, you became a validator after. Was that a seamless sort of transaction? You went from SP reporter to validator.
We had to apply for the position of validator. There was one or two that weren't successful from being an SP returner, but yes, it changed then with SIS and the computerisation of
Oh, is that when the validator?
Yeah.
So then somebody else was returning the SP, not the PA, but the PA was you saying that was a fair
Overseeing,
return.
being a validator, overseeing what work, the connections of the computers onto a console. And we just kept an eye on that they had the correct price on the computer that was on the same on the board. So it was a double check, but it was nothing like being an SP returner. And they paid us a little bit less as well.
Oh, did they? I always thought it was a promotion.
No.
Yeah, so one of the things that used to throw a spanner into the works was when there was a late withdrawal of a horse. The whole thing had to be rejigged to the market reform sometimes, whatever. Then that resulted in a Rule 4.
Yeah.
Now you tried to get the Rule 4 changed at one point, almost succeeded, because it was unfair, or it still is unfair, isn't it? It's still the same as it was, isn't it?
Yeah. It was 2008, and I wrote to all the BPAs in Great Britain, asking if they'd support me in the move to alter Rule 4 so that each price had its own Rule 4 deduction, rather than being bracketed together. It was May 2008, Tattersalls agreed to change it to what my suggestion was. They issued a statement to the off-course market and to the on-course. The new prices would come in about 10 days' time on June the 1st, 2008. Well, the off-course market were astounded because it meant that all their software in all the betting shops over the country would have to be altered. So I believe that was the reason the off-course market refused to take it on. And so a U-turn was done, and they abolished my idea completely, and it's still stayed the same since 1961.
Because regardless of what punters think, that's actually massively weighed in their favour, especially with the really short ones, and in certain circumstances. So it seems a bit odd that the bookmakers, of course, decided not to adopt your ideas, because it would have saved them.
I believe to this day that if they had given a month instead of just a week or 10 days that Tattersalls gave the changes, I think they would have altered. But they just didn't give the off-course market enough time to alter their software.
Because Betfair had already made its mark at that point.
Yeah,
that's exactly how it works on their system.
Yeah.
So it would have. Yeah. It's, so anyway, a bit more about you personally. As we can see by the way you're dressed today, you became very well known for your flamboyant dress sense. When did because obviously you sent me a picture which we'll put on the page. You look when you were Jockey Club security, you looked as you'd imagine a Jockey Club security officer to look. So was there the flamboyant sort of reaction to that when that ended? Or was it going back to your showbiz days?
No. we got a son who lives in Thailand, and I got a lot of Thai silk years ago. So yeah, it's, well known for my shirts. But going on to the validating, when it first started, it's about 2004. The idea of the sample that we had was the SP would be 33% of the full sample. If we were using 9, then if 3 boards had the top price, then that would be the SP. Or if there was 18 in the sample, then 6 had the biggest price, that would be the SP. But Lord Donahue, who was on the SP committee, or chairman of it, came to Newbury one day when I was there, and I suggested that they should change it from 33 to 50%, because it was fairer all round, and the overall SP percentage would be better. He then told me to send in a report, which I did, to the PA, and the following meeting at Hereford I did the same. I did the 2 comparisons, the 33 and the 50. Anyway, within weeks they changed it to 50. I didn't get any credit for it. But, so 1 or 2 things I've managed to change over the years, but I didn't get to change rule 4.
Well, they might still look at that yet, Tel. So you were pensioned off at 65, which, to be honest, these days is quite young.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I remember, when you went, you didn't want to go, but you had to go.
Yeah.
And everybody would whip round, and then you were back.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Mike Cattermole, when he saw me again working after, because he bought me a bottle of champagne. He said, I want my bottle back. I said, well, you can have the bottle. But, yeah, it was...
So you're still, we still see you on the racecourse now in the press rooms. So what do you do now? Obviously semi-retired, or mostly retired.
Yeah, oh yeah, I did 6 meetings last year. I'll do about 8 this year. It's only when covering holidays, but it's not even a validating job now. All I'm doing is reaffirming what the clerk of the scales is sending to the press association with jockey changes, colours, results, distances. So I'm just there with it manually, just confirming that the clerk of the scales has sent everything correctly, and if there is a difference, then it will be picked up when I contact press association and give something different. Yeah, but it very rarely happens. So yet again, I'm on a lower salary.
So you've worked from when you started, when you ditched the being a blue coat. So you've worked all your adult life pretty much in the betting ring.
Yeah.
Is that something, is it, looking back on it, is that something that you're glad you did, or do you wish you'd decided to stick with the showbiz?
Well, so I didn't do much. Only, say, the Pontins blue coat, but I've had a good life. It's been easy. I haven't had to work hard. I haven't had to do any digging or anything. It's been an easy job. Most of the time I've been given a car to travel in, travel expenses, and as I say, it's better than working for a living.
Okay, Terry. Now we've talked about your career, but you're not exactly inactive. You're quite a keen sports person. Tell us a bit about what you do, what you've been doing.
Well, I've been playing a lot of bowls over the years. Since early 40s I started, indoor bowls and outdoor, but mainly indoor these days. Back in the early 90s, I did a charity 24 hours. I played 12 different players, 2 hours each, starting at 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, finished 9 o'clock Monday morning. The great David Bryant played me for the first 2 hours, and I raised over the 24 hours of nearly £2,000 for a boy who needed a new wheelchair, a friend of ours. He'd grown out of his one and he wanted to get a new one, so I managed to raise money to go towards it. Still playing bowls twice a week. I run a bowls club, but since COVID, I've been playing croquet. It's the best game I've ever played out of all the games: football, golf, cricket, bowls. It's absolutely fascinating, croquet. And until you get to know what it's all about, you just don't know how good it is. It's very tactical. Anyway, last September I managed to get to the All England handicap finals on the Isle of Wight over 2 days. It was 14 in the finals, and I had to play against the other 13 in singles. 7 on the Saturday, which was the hottest day on the Isle of Wight last year, 90, but then it was the same for all of us. Anyway, I didn't manage to win the competition, but I put up a fight. I had to give 10 out of the 13 players a hoop start, so I was handicapped, but I did manage to win half the matches.
Everybody thinks of croquet is like what posh people play on the lawn of their country pile, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that, so how did you get into that?
Friends in the bowls club played it, and they asked me to go along, and it's nothing like people imagine, like banging the balls off the boundary and things like that. It's golf croquet is very tactical. It's like chess or snooker. You've got to think ahead. What's going to happen if you put your ball there? What's the opposition going to do? The idea is that you want to run the hoop and they want to stop you, and vice versa. And it's a matter of running the first to 7 hoops is the winner. But it's so tactical. Every shot is tactical, and it is fascinating. And I wish I'd taken it up years ago.
Are there plenty of clubs around there that sort of play each other? Or?
No, there's only one in Weston, of which I'm actually won the club handicap last year. There's one in Taunton, Nailsea. The big place is Buzzley Sorterton. They got about 11 courts down there, but it's so few and far between. We play people from South Wales, Swanage, but there's not many clubs around. But we've got about 40 odd members at Weston. But if you ever get the chance, look into it. It's brilliant. I spoke to Simon Holt about it about a month ago, and he's thinking of having a look at it.
You could open a club in Thailand, and then you both start a craze over there.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, on that note, Terry Allen, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.